Can you
Yes,
see?
I can see.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So coordinate geometry is very simple. Only three things you need to remember for it. For this whole of the chapter, even you need to remember only three things. Okay. So first of all, we draw the axis. There are two axes. First axis is the horizontal axis and the second axis is vertical axis. Right? So first of all,
Yes.
we have these two axes, and then these two axes, the point where they meet, that point we call as origin. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So these two axes meet here. So this point, the point of meeting, we call this point as O, and its coordinates are 0, 0 always. Okay, so this is origin. Point O we call as origin, and the coordinate of origin are always 0, 0. Coordinate simply means if you are defining any point, then how much the distance it has traveled on x-axis, that is the first coordinate, and how much the distance it has traveled on the y-axis, that is the vertical axis, that is the second coordinate, right? So if you look at point O, it has not traveled any distance towards x-axis. That means it has traveled 0 on x-axis, and towards y-axis, that is the vertical axis, also it has traveled 0. So the coordinate for origin O is 0 and 0. Now suppose I start moving. Let us say I come to the point here, okay, and I want to find out the coordinate. So say this distance is 1. So can you tell me the coordinate of this point? Say this point is P. Okay. I want to write down the coordinate for point P. Can you tell me?
For coordinate for point P would be 0, comma 1.
Yes, because it has not traveled any distance on x-axis, that is the horizontal axis. So it has traveled 0 only, and it has traveled one distance, either it is 1 centimeter or whatever is the scale you have chosen. So it has traveled 1. So this second coordinate will be 1. Yes. Now suppose it's traveled one
Yes.
more distance. Okay, 1 and 1. Now this is point Q. So again, you can say Q has traveled no distance towards the horizontal axis, that is the x-axis. So this coordinate will be 0. And the second coordinate is on the y-axis. So y-axis, it has traveled 1 plus 1, that is 2. So 0 and 2 are the coordinates of point Q. Yes. And there is only 1 and
Yes.
1 point which will be having the coordinates 0 and 2. Okay. So what does it mean? That if any point which is lying on the y-axis, so the x coordinate is always 0. Either it is like 0, 3. If I move further one more, then it will be 0, 3, 0, 4, and so on, right? So all the points which are lying on x-axis, their x coordinate is 0. Similarly, if I travel one distance towards x-axis, okay,
Yes.
so it has traveled 1 towards x-axis and 0 towards the vertical axis, that is the y-axis. So the coordinate here will be 1, 0. If I travel one more, then 2, 0. If I travel one more, then 3, 0, and so on. It may continue. So you can say that for all the points which are lying on the y-axis, the x coordinate is 0 because it has not traveled any distance towards x-axis. And all the points which are lying on the horizontal axis, that is the x-axis, the y coordinate is always 0. Clear?
Yes.
Yes. So that is all about it, that we have the origin, then we have one a vertical axis, that is the y-axis, and we have one horizontal axis. And if we define these two, we can point or we can define the coordinates of any point. Yes. Okay. So that we have done how to define. That also we have done. How will you define the lamp, and that street also we have done. Okay. Now this is known as the Cartesian system. If you define the origin and if you define two axes, then this system is known as a Cartesian system. Cartesian system means because if it is a two axis system, then you will define two coordinates. Okay, this and this, x and y.
Yes.
So these are the two coordinates of any point. Yes, like in this example, as you can see here, they have given a number line. This is your number line. So O is the origin, that is the 0. Now it has traveled towards positive numbers, positive integers, and left side is towards negative integers. Yes. Now, the point from which the distance are marked is called the origin. So here, this is the origin. We use a number line to represent the numbers by marking points on line at equal distances. If 1 unit distance represents the number 1 and 3 units represents the number 3, then 0 is at the origin. Okay. And the distance we can define as r. Yes. Suppose you want to choose this point, then the distance between the origin and the point we have chosen, this distance is called as r. Yes. So r defines the distance from the origin to the point we have chosen. Yes. And suppose here I have chosen 5. If I go towards left hand side, so reaching the same distance, I will reach here, right? So how much I have traveled? So you will count this as r, from 0 to the point I have chosen. Now, for this point, say this point is P and this point is Q. Yes. So how much this r will be? This r will be like I have traveled from 0 to 5. So the value of this r will be 5. Okay. And since, because I am traveling towards right hand side, so this is a positive r. Now, if I travel to point Q, then I'm traveling towards left hand side. I'm traveling the negative distance. So you can mark this r as negative because the distance is -5. Okay. So in this way, we can travel towards positive side and we can also travel towards negative side. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that is the way we can extend our axis. Like till now we are having x-axis and y-axis. Now we can extend. So how we can do? We can draw one vertical axis. This will be our y-axis. And we can draw a horizontal axis. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Now at the center, I will take the origin. So this is the origin, the center, where the two axes intersect. That is the origin, and the coordinates are 0, 0. Yes. Now this horizontal axis is always x-axis by convention, and the vertical axis is y-axis. Okay. So now you will see why I have extended. Like till now we were limiting this to here. Now why this x-axis is extended and y-axis is extended, so that we can show all the positive numbers here and all the negative numbers towards the left hand side of O. Yes. So this will have all the positive numbers, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And this will have all the negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and so on. Okay, it will continue like this. So this is our whole axis. So towards the right-hand side of origin O, all these are positive x. Okay, because if we choose a number line, then from the origin as the reference, all the numbers towards right-hand side are positive. So this is positive x. And if I go from left towards left-hand side from the origin O, then all these are negative x. Is it clear? So this is positive x and this is negative x. And in the mid, we have the origin O. Yes. Similarly, for y-axis, if you go upward, then you will have all the positive numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And if you go downwards, then you will have all the negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, -4, and so on. Okay, so that is how we can define positive x-axis. So this is positive x-axis and this is negative x-axis. This is positive y-axis and this is negative y-axis. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so suppose I show you a point. Say this point. I have a point lying here. So what will be the coordinate of this point? Can you tell me roughly the coordinates for this point?
The coordinate for this 4, -3. I mean
First,
-3, 4.
yes, first we need to write for x-axis, that is the horizontal axis. So if you count down from here, -1, -2, and -3, because if you draw a perpendicular, it will come up to -3. So the first coordinate, that is the x coordinate, is -3. and the second coordinate, that is the y coordinate, that is 4. Okay, so if I say this point is
Yes.
P, then the coordinates for point P is -3n plus 4. Clear? Okay.
Yes.
So first you need to write down the x coordinate and then the y coordinate. That is it. Because this is 2-dimensional, so we need to write down only 3 coordinates. Had it been 3-dimensional, then we need to write down x, y, and z. Okay. But that is not in your syllabus. In your 9th standard, you'll study later on when you will go to higher mathematics. So for this chapter, you need to write down only 2 coordinates, right? And you know where the origin is. Like here it is shown. Okay. So this is our origin. This point is our origin. O is the origin. Then we have all the positive numbers on x. So this is plus x, positive x-axis, and this is minus x, that is negative x-axis. Fine. So what do we do? Instead of writing minus x, we simply denote it with x dash. Okay. This is x and this is x dash. So x dash is simply, it is not like x and x dash are different. This is the same axis. That which is showing the positive numbers is plus x, and which is showing the negative number minus x. Minus x we have denoted with x dash. Okay. Similarly, plus y is just y, and all those y-axis which is denoting the negative number, so we denote it with y dash. Okay. So now we have the x's as like this is x dash, and now we have y and y dash, right? And this is origin O. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So if you need to define the positive x-axis, so positive will start from here. So positive x-axis is OX. Negative x-axis is OX dash. Yes. Positive y-axis is OY. And negative y-axis is OY dash. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So there should not be any doubt in this because this is very simple. We have the origin and then we have 2 x's. Still you have any doubt? You can ask me anytime. Now, so now if we have defined these x's, we can easily define the quadrants. Quadrant simply means, okay. So like we can draw the x's. This is our y-axis, vertical, and this is our x-axis, that is the horizontal. Then in the center, we have the origin O, and O is 0, 0. Coordinates are 0, 0. Then we have x-axis, that is the positive x-axis. This we call as x dash because this is a negative x-axis. This we call as y because this is positive y-axis, and this is y dash because this is negative y-axis. Okay. So it has all the positive numbers. It has also positive numbers. It has all the negative numbers, and it also has the negative numbers. So quadrant simply means we have divided into 4 parts, right? So all these x's, this 2 coordinate system, we have divided into 4 parts. So we begin from here. Okay. So this is our first quadrant, then second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. These are the 4 quadrants. Okay. Now if you come to first quadrant, first look up to the x-axis and then up to the y-axis. So x-axis is positive or negative? Positive. Yes?
X-axis is positive.
So it is positive. And y-axis? It is also positive? Yes? So this will be, first quadrant will be positive, positive. Okay? Clear?
Yes.
Now come to second quadrant. First look to the x-axis. X-axis is negative.
Minus.
That is minus. And y is positive, that is plus. Okay. So second quadrant is always minus and plus. First is plus and plus because both are positive. Second quadrant is minus for x and plus for y. Now third quadrant. Can you tell me for third quadrant? X is? It
will be.
Yeah. Look up to
minus.
The x. Yes. And y? Y is also minus. Okay.
Yes.
Fine. So third is minus and minus. Now fourth quadrant.
Fourth quadrant would be plus comma minus.
Yes, because x is plus and y is minus. Yes. Okay, so that is
Yes.
how you can define that in which quadrant it will be. If you have both the positive, then it is first quadrant. If you have both negative, it is third quadrant. If x is negative, y is positive, then it is second quadrant. And converse to this, if x is positive but y is negative, then it is the fourth quadrant. Clear?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
no doubt in this. And even if you get confused in your answers, you can simply draw like this. Okay, this is O,
Yes.
x, x dash, y, y dash. Now this is plus, plus, minus, minus. So now you can write down. Okay, so no chances of getting any confusion.
Yes.
Okay, and when you do a few questions, it will be in practice, and then
Yes.
you won't forget, because it is quite easy to remember. Now come to this. Okay, so like here they have given the point P. So this is our point P. So we need to find out the coordinate for point P.
Yes.
So first of all, we'll write down the x coordinate. So if you draw perpendicular, then it touched the positive x-axis at 4. So this will be 4. Now, if you draw perpendicular on y-axis, then it intersects 3. So the coordinates are 4 and 3. And both are positive. Okay, so this is the first quadrant, right? Okay. And if you want to find out the coordinates for Q, can you give me the coordinates for point Q?
Point Q coordinates will be -2, minus 6, minus 2.
Yes, -6, -2. Because first we need to write down the x coordinate always. Okay, first coordinate is x and second is y. Either positive or negative, but first write down x. Okay, so like if you draw a perpendicular on x-axis, this is -6, and if you draw a perpendicular on y-axis, this is -2, and both are minus minus, so this is the third quadrant. Clear? Anything you want to ask in this?
Yes.
Any question?
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Okay, all clear. Good. Fine. Okay. So we can write down the x coordinate of a point. It is the perpendicular distance from the y-axis measured along the x-axis. Yes. So the x coordinate is also known as abscissa. Okay. Like, do you write down
Yes.
two coordinates? Suppose if you have a point P, then first we write down the x coordinate and then we write down the y coordinate for any point. Yes. So this x, it is known as abscissa, and this y coordinate, this is known as ordinate. Okay, so these are the mathematical name. X coordinate we
Yes.
call as abscissa, and y coordinate we call as ordinate. Yes, so these are the
Yes.
mathematical names. So always remember, like if a point is given to you whose abscissa is this and ordinate is this, then you can show it. But you should know that abscissa is x coordinate and ordinate is y coordinate. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Fine. So here some points are given to you, like the abscissa and ordinate of the point B are. Fine. Yes. Give me the abscissa and ordinate for point B. Yes. So what is the
For
abscissa?
point B, abscissa is 4 and ordinate is 3.
3. So the coordinates will be 4 and
4,3.
3. Yes. For point M.
Yes. For point M, abscissa is -3 and ordinate is 4.
Yes. So the coordinates will be -3 and 4. And it is in the second quadrant because x is negative, y is positive. So they are in the second quadrant. Yes. Both are positive. So it is in the first quadrant. Now, point L.
For point L, abscissa is -5 and ordinate is -4.
Yeah, very good. So we have this point LS, coordinates are -5 and -4, and both are negative. So it is in the third quadrant. Yes. Now last point, that is
Yes.
point S.
For point S, abscissa is 3 and ordinate is -4.
Yes. So the coordinates will be 3 and -4. And 6x is plus, means positive, and y is negative. So it is in the fourth quadrant. Okay. So now you know what is abscissa, what is ordinate, what are the coordinates, and what are the quadrants. Clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are the only things you need to know in this chapter. Nothing beyond this. You know how to locate, you know how to find the coordinate, and you should be able to mention in which quadrant it is. right?
Yes.
So here also same thing, point marked like point A, B, C, and D. Let us do for 1. Yes, say for point A. Okay.
For point A, the coordinates are 4.
Write down A and O, and then we can define the coordinate.
Okay. Abscissa is 4 and ordinate is 0.
Yes. So the coordinates are also 4 and 0. And if it is
4,
0, that means it will lie on the x-axis only because it has not traveled any distance on y-axis. Yes. Okay. Similarly, you can define
Yes.
for any of the point which is lying on the axis, either x-axis or y-axis. Okay. Now, why it is origin O? Because it has 0 distance from both the axes. So its abscissa is 0 as well as ordinate is 0. Okay. So for origin, that is point O, the abscissa and ordinate both are 0. So we call it as the origin. Yes. Now it is given that for first quadrant, we have both positive plus plus. For second quadrant, we have minus plus. For third quadrant, we have minus minus. And for fourth quadrant, we have plus and minus. So that is how we can define all the 4 quadrants in a 2-axis system. Yes. Okay. So then comes the exercise. Fine. So let us do this exercise. Okay. What is the name of the horizontal and the vertical lines drawn to determine the position of any point in a Cartesian plane? So we will draw a Cartesian plane.
X-axis,
Yes.
y-axis.
Yes. So this is our horizontal line is always x-axis, maybe x dash, and vertical line is always y dash. So this we call as x-axis, horizontal is x-axis, and vertical is y-axis. Okay. What is the name of each part of the plane formed by these 2 lines?
Quadrant.
Yes. So we have 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that is a quadrant. Okay. Write the name of the point where these 2 lines intersect.
Origin.
That is origin. Yes. This is our origin. O, and whose coordinate are abscissa is 0 and ordinate is also 0. Yes. Okay. Now you have to look at the figure and you need to define that. You can do very easily because you know how to define. Okay, so let us go. Odd coordinates of B, C, and okay. So coordinate of B, can you define?
-5. Just a second. -5 plus 2.
Plus 2. Yes. Then what else for point A? Which point it is asking?
For point A or C?
C. C. For point C. Here it is. Okay. So here you can see point C. Yes. So what are the coordinates?
C. For
point
okay,
C.
C. For I can't. Hello.
Yes. Can you hear me? So can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So point C.
Now I can hear you.
Yes. What will the abscissa and what will the ordinate? Yes, I can hear you.
Abscissa is 5 and ordinate is also 5.
That is -5. Yes, it is -5 because the downwards. So this 4 quadrant plus and minus. Now, which point is identified with -3 and 5? -3 and -5. Okay. So -3 and -5.
-3 and point H.
Okay.
Point H.
So it is like -3 here and -3 and -5. No. Yes. -3, just I will mark it.
Wait,
this -3 is here and -5. So this is E. Okay. First, you should look up to x.
Okay.
Yes. That is what you can get confused. Okay.
Yes.
So
yes.
first look for x-axis and then for y.
Yes.
Okay. Always horizontal first and vertical later. Okay. So if it is -3, that means you have to look somewhere here on this line that is lying horizontally.
Yes.
Okay. So it is -3. Now go to the vertical line. So vertical line is -5. So it is here. So the
Yes.
point is E. Okay. Now
Yes.
the point identified by the coordinates 2 and -4. So look up to here.
G, point G.
2 and -4. Yes, right. G. So this is point G. Okay. Now the abscissa of the point D. What this abscissa?
Point D, 6.
6. And the ordinate is 2. Yes. Okay. The ordinate of the point H. This one.
H ordinate is -3.
-3. Abscissa is -5 and ordinate is -3. Right. The coordinates of the point L.
Point
L
L.
is here. L is here on y-axis.
I mean 5,0.
Again, you did the same thing.
Hello. 0,5.
Yes. Always write x coordinate first. Okay. So look to the horizontal
Yes.
axis. Horizontal axis, it has not traveled anything. So this will be 0. Then come to the vertical axis. If you write down it as 5 and 0, where you will reach, it is 5 and 0. This point. Okay.
Yes.
This is 5 and 0. This is not L. Okay. So there is a lot difference between 5, 0 and 0, 5. That means you have traveled 0 on y. And this means you have traveled 0 on x. Yes. So x first. X first, y later. If you write down yx, that will be a different point. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The coordinates of the point M. Yes.
Just a second. Can I plug in my device?
Yeah, sure.
Hello, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So the coordinates
Okay,
of point
so you
M.
asked
Yes, M. This one.
point M. Coordinates are -3, 0.
Because x-axis it is -3 and y has traveled 0. Fine. So this is the way we can
Yes.
do. Okay. So can you tell me the coordinate for this point? If it is any point
Coordinates
N. Yes.
coordinates for point N are 0,6.
Yes, 0 and 6. And it is in the first quadrant. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So that is how you can define. But just remember that first you need to write down the x coordinate and then the y coordinate. Oh, okay. So that finishes with the chapter. So any doubt in this? Because this is very simple.
No.
Any doubt in this?
No, ma'am.
So next